Hello, my friends. So I have a review slash walkthrough for you. This is a deck that I backed on Kickstarter, and I really like it. So I'm excited to share it with you. What to say? Well, I don't know. I mean, I just got it in the mail. It came from Australia, and it was a Kickstarter. So I don't know much about its retail sitch, but I will look up the artist, and anything I can find in terms of getting the deck, I will share under the video. And yeah, so it's called Tarot of the Crystal World, illustrated by Brooke Penrose. And again, it was a Kickstarter deck, conceived and illustrated on stolen land. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the land acknowledgement here. I'm going to spell Wurundjeri, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And the website is CaptainBstudios.com. So I didn't see that before. I will leave that below. I really, really like it. Definitely was not a... I totally changed my setup, and now I can't remember how to zoom in. There we go. So I probably should just do these standing up from now on. So Tower of the Crystal World. Let me read the back. So it's upside down. So it says, inspired by music, history, motherhood, magic, and stuffed to the brim with punk attitude, Tarot of the Crystal World is a fully illustrated reinterpretation of a 78-card tarot by Brooke Penrose. The cards are fierce, unique, challenging, inclusive, and emotional. The people inhabiting the crystal world are us, in flux with our past, dancing within our dreams, lost in time, and recast as a player on a stage of fate. So, that is the description. Part of the Kickstarter, I think, was this Oracle, which I just sort of looked at really quickly. I probably will never use it, but I think it was a stretch goal, and it came with some stickers, and then just a little pamphlet on the meanings of the Oracle cards. So I'll show you those really quickly. Interestingly, I like this back better than the back in the deck, which you'll see. I'm not wild about the back. It's kind of like, I don't like the back so much, and I don't love the Magician card. I think there may be one other card I'm not that wild about, but love this back. I wish this were the back of the deck. Both are gilded, and so here we get these oracles. So we have a child, remember, dream, but you get a sense of the art style here, open eyes, which I love. It's kind of retro, it's kind of current, it's kind of comic booky, it's kind of not. And there's a lot of, I would say this is one of the most bodily and age-diverse decks that I've seen, in my time. So what was that? This was Returned Thought, here was Surrendered Idea, Closed Eyes, A Barrier to Change, Resistance, Rebellion, Consistency, Familiar Comfort, Gratitude, Culture's Air, Desire, Head in the Sky, Access to the Cosmic, and an Adult. So that's the little Oracle deck. Again, I really like this back. I didn't notice that before, but I do wish. The back of the deck is fine. The tarot is fine. It's just not. It's this, actually. It's this little cluster of crystals. Now, it's interesting. I mean, there isn't really anything in the deck that makes me think explicitly of crystals. But probably, if there was, I wouldn't have backed it. Because that's just not how I work. So there's a little guidebook. Again, this is the back of the deck. Just here's a little intro. Tower of the Crystal World deck represents many hours of work and many years of exploration. I have made art since I can hold a pencil. Tower of the Crystal World is my interpretation of a 78-card tarot deck. I've kept the necessary limitations of suits, the needed metaphors of representation, but I've also come up with my own language of simile and adumbration. The people inhabiting the crystal world are us. We heard that on the back. They show the world reborn inside a funhouse mirror. Country and western layouts, Jesus, I can't read. Aerobatic dancers, fearsome warriors, and the detritus of modernity, lost in time, recast as players on a stage directed by fate. So that's a little intro, and it's a really nice production quality. This cardstock is great. It's linen, which you know I don't like, but I had never felt a linen cardstock like this before, ever. So interesting. And it shuffles great. It's thick, but not so. It actually. I'll show you the shuffle as I always do. So here's the Fool, which I love. Just this like naked man dancing through the landscape. This is the Magician, and I don't love the Magician. I just don't understand sort of the zombie or cinch, but it's fine. Love this High Priestess. This may be my favorite High Priestess ever. Super cool. Empress. I don't love pregnant empresses because I feel like the Empress gets to be more than that, but again, whenever I say that, I feel like it's denigrating motherhood. I don't mean that. And this is a deck, of course, that is focusing on, or is inspired by motherhood, so, it makes sense. But given that context, I really like it. It's gorge. I mean, it just sort of gives 60s, but, like, gives modern, and, like, I don't know, it's weird. There's the Emperor, who I really like. The Hierophant, sort of this... There's a lot of cowboys in this deck. I love this Lover's card. I love this Chariot. I love the Strength card. I really just love the deck overall. This Hermit, I think, is just A+. Love the Hermit. The Wheel is nice. I'm not mad at the back. I just like that other one better. This is an interesting card, too. It's Justice. It's sort of giving me, like, Conquistador, colonizer vibes, which, I mean, I guess if you think about justice contextually, justice is a preconceived notion defined by the people in power. So I guess in that case it makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if they describe what we're seeing in the deck. Justice. Nope, doesn't say. Hanged Man. Love this Death card. Really cool. I love that the person is on the ride. Temperance. I have mixed feelings about this Devil card. Like, the Devil is one of my favorite cards. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. Like, I kind of like the ambiguity here. And I guess that's kind of what they were going for, is sort of like, what am I really seeing? Tower. The Star. The Moon. And the Sun. The color palette, I love this Judgment. Color palette, I love. The art style, I love. And the world, that's really beautiful, too. I will say that the lack of titles on the majors do make me take a double take. And there are a couple cards in the minors where I don't immediately know what I'm looking at either. So that's a thing. But, I had read with this. So, in fact, I just finished putting it back in order because I had done a client reading with it. So that was the Ace of Wands. Here's the Two of Wands. The 3. So very different 2 and 3, which, well, not really the 2. So now the 2, we're not getting the sort of colonial vibes here. The 4. It is Waite Smith. There's some deviations from that, but it's pretty standard issue Waite Smith. But it's just like these sort of schoolboys. There's like a darker quality there. It's the 6, the 7, and the 8, and the 9. And the 10. And then we get into the court, so there's the page. Get a lot of age diversity, which I think a lot of creators don't focus on, and I really appreciate that. The Knight, the Queen, and the King. And now we get into cups. Ace, 2, 3. I don't know why, but I find this 4 really sexy. Like, that's not kind of a vibe that I would normally go for, but I do. I don't know why. I posted that on Instagram earlier. The 5. That's a very sweet 6. 7. 8. 9. Apologies for any background noise. I have the windows open. It's lovely out, and c'est la vie. And the 10. Page. The sort of mopey artist. The Knight. The Queen. And the King. I will say the Queens all have kind of a motherhood thing, which again, like that's part of the vibe, but also not exclusively. So it's interesting. But again, that's an artistic choice, and everyone gets to make that choice. The Ace of Swords, the 2 of Swords, the 3. This is a really interesting 3 of Swords for sure. The 4. That one's really interesting too. The sort of baby sleeping with swords. The 5. The 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. And now we get into the Page. The Knight. The Queen. And the King. And then finally the Suit of Pentacles, which I think is really beautiful. The Ace. Pentacles are often my favorite suits. I love this. 2. The 3. The 4. It's an interesting 5. Very different. 6. This kind of gives you what you would normally see in the 5. In fact, part of me wonders if they were switched somehow, but it's hand lettered, so. 7. 8. I love this 9. I love this 9. First of all, it's giving me Little Edie, but I don't know. 9 of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards in Waite-Smith decks for whatever reason. I love this one. 10. And then we have the Page, the Knight, the Queen. I guess it's only 2 that have babies, and the King. I love that King. All right. So let me zoom out, and I will shuffle it. Oops. See my messy workspace. Well, it's not as messy as it usually is. Sorry, I'll shuffle again. It's linen, but it's thick linen. It's not slippery linen, so I love it. I mean, just great shuffler. And overhands nicely too. Obviously, it's gilded. That may have been a stretch goal too. I can't remember. I mean, the production quality is chef's kiss. It's so, so, so good. So I know I'm not shuffling it enough to get like a clean or a varied draw, but we'll just lay them out anyway. Yep, see, we're getting all swords. Do love that Hermit. All swords. All the time. Oh, there's my 9. It's just really beautiful. I think it's incredibly done. aside from sort of The Magician, which I don't love. I think it's great. And this was not, this, I think, I didn't, I think I discovered accidentally in just scrolling through Kickstarter or in backing another project, but I love it. So, Tower of the Crystal World by Brooke Penrose. CaptainBstudios.com. I'll leave that link below. Whoops. Love it. And hope you do too. Take care, be good, and we'll talk soon.